Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to this episode of the Godox production series. Today we are filming at this amazing nostalgic skating rink. Whee! And what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically use the practical lights that are already at the skating rink, but we're gonna use Godox lights to help enhance the rest of the space. So we're gonna shoot a couple different scenarios. We're gonna use a lot of RGB, we're gonna use a lot of tube lights and panel lights, you name it, we're just gonna have a lot of fun. So let's get in here and do our thing. So we are here at the location right now. It's this really cool nostalgic skating rink, all kinds of character, and right now we just have the house lights on. And what we're gonna do is end up turning off most of those house lights, using a couple of the practicals, but we're gonna bring in a lot of Godox lights, mainly tube lights and panel lights, just to really enhance the overall character of our entire environment. So the challenge is we're lighting a very large space. So we're gonna need a lot of accent lights in a lot of different areas throughout the skating rink. And that's just gonna make our set look a lot larger than it really is. So we've closed the set down. We've brought in all kinds of background extras just to make it look like the skating rink is happening and is live and is basically open since we've closed down the set. And what we're gonna do from there is we have our talent that's gonna be basically, they're gonna have a good time at a skating rink. It's just a night out with very cinematic lighting, and we're gonna play with some Godox lights and try to make something really cool. So that's the whole premise of this. All right, so here we are in our first scene. So we wanted to do a really cool movement with the camera, basically when she's renting the skates and taking them and sitting down with her friends. And so we wanted to use a gimbal and a ready rig, and that's gonna basically keep that camera stable and allow me to kind of float the camera to where we want the action to take place.
For our camera setup today, we're using the red Komodo. We have a IRIX 21mm lens, 1.5. We do have an ND that's on the back of the camera, and we do have a subtle Dream Effects filter on the front of it. So it's giving us a nice haze for the lights, and we're wirelessly pulling focus on these shots so that we make sure that whoever's operating the camera doesn't really have to worry about the focus.
Let's take a tour of our set real quick. I'll kind of show you some of the lights that we are working with. So back here, we wanted to kind of throw a really fun RGB color. And so we really like the blue cyan kind of color. So what we have is a P600 bi, and it's right over here. And this is basically cascading across all of these skates right here. So we put a blue gel in front of it just to give it a little bit more of a blue tint, and also cool the light down as much as possible. This is a bicolor light. So we're at the 8500 Kelvin temperature on that light. And if we just keep moving this way, I'll just kind of show you what we have back here as our backlight. And this is kind of lighting up just this general area right here. And what we have way back here is a no-LED F400 bi. It's a flex panel light. It's got the softbox on it, and that's basically illuminating this entire back area and giving us kind of a cool little illumination of these trophies right here. So moving over here, we have some TP4R tube lights. And so these are cool because these are the no-LED tube lights. These are pixel lights, so they're allowing us to give it this really cool light chase motion. So what we did is we did a pink and a blue just because we like that color palette. So we kind of went with that, and we gave it motion just to kind of give something, you know, kind of dynamic in the background. So we set a couple of these up along the lockers right here, and also cascading across the locker, if you can kind of see, we have a spotlight with the 1200 bi. And that light is hitting right across here. It's just kind of illuminating more of the trophies and more of this blue locker area right here. Moving over this direction, I'll just come stand right over here. So this is a flex panel. This is an F400 buy. And so this is the new flex panel. These are great because you can easily mount them overhead and get a really nice key light. And there's a softbox and a grid attached to it. And that softbox and the grid actually came with the light, which is another awesome thing. So we have this boomed over our talent when our talent was sitting right here. Just gave us a nice soft light and really allowed skin tones to really glow. And it just, we liked what the key light was doing there. So if we want to go further back here, there are so many lights here because we're lighting a very, very vast space. So coming back here a little bit more, we actually went and replaced a lot of the light bulbs that were in these fixtures up top, these little lamps. And so what's in those is the C7R RGB lamp light. And so that's a smaller fixture lamp, and they actually come in a kit that you can charge all of them together. They're all RGB. You can control them with the Godox light app, along with all the other lights as well. But those we set to a nice warmer tone, like at 2800 Kelvin, just because we wanted it to be a little bit warmer in this background over here. And also we added more tube lights to the wall. And so we just did some Velcro and also some duct tape. And I mean, that's basically how we got them mounted to the wall. And we played with some of the RGB colors, and that's pretty much our world in a nutshell here. All right, and 3, 2, 1, action.
The cool thing about Godox is the app. It makes it really easy for me to control every single one of the lights on our set right now and do some really cool things. Like for instance, our effects that are going on and our tube lights over here, to even when my director or my DP calls for me to change any light that just needs a little tweaking, we can be standing right next to each other and I can be tweaking it with him right next to him. I can also group all of them together. For instance, all of my hanging bulbs up there, I instantly can take them off and put them on whenever I need to, and we can do very minute tweaks standing right next to each other and not having to keep running and yelling at each other or talking on a walkie. It's quite nice.
All right, and here we are in our second setup. So we actually are on the floor this time, doing a little bit of skating, a little bit of dancing, just a bunch of fun stuff. So we needed to light up this entire area behind me. We really wanted to highlight that pizza sign that Wally just had to have. He had to incorporate that into it. So glad that we got it thrown in there. So it really helps out that background right there. And over here on this side, we've got some TP4Rs. And these are the pixel lights. And so we put them on a nice little purple, pink, and blue effect, just kind of giving that light and motion just to kind of balance out everything that we had in our scene before this one. For our key lights, we have a couple of F400 by panel lights. We've got one set up right here with a diffusion silk on it, just to soften that fill light a little bit more. And then we have one boomed over here with a diffusion silk and a grid, and that's basically containing that light a little bit more, and it's also diffusing it just to give us nice, soft, atmospheric light just within this general area. And then further back behind me is the P600 by hard light, and that's a really, really bright panel. And what we had there is we put a blue gel on there just to kind of give us a little bit of accent color. And that light's great because it lights up a large area and the light actually carries a long distance. So we're able to carry it throughout our entire environment, which is great. The other thing we did was we took an MG1200 by with a spotlight attachment, and we actually had Eric on it, and he was able to maneuver that light around as if it was a spotlight. So we were basically making our own practical looking source, but with a really large light. And it was really cool just because it would kind of ping off the lens from time to time or just highlight the background. It really just gave us a lot more lights in motion, and that's exactly what we were going for here. All right, so if you want to find out an easy way to film skating or a lot of moving, rickshaw cart is the way to do it, because I'm not putting any effort right now. It's all Wally, and it's a great way just to maneuver around and get your shot and dial it in.